Welcome to week 186, Curated Conversation, Self-Trust. The power of self-trust, from overdrive to alignment. It was just another Tuesday at my desk, my mind numb and my fingers hovering over the keys, frozen in time. Phone notifications pinged like a fire alarm, shrill and repetitive, warning me of a danger I couldn't see, but I could feel in every part of my body. I was employed, praised, and productive, but I wasn't okay. I remember trying to find soothing music, testing white noise apps, and inhaling lavender every hour in desperate attempts to catch my breath. There was a tightness in my throat and chest that I had diagnosed with something's wrong with me or something I needed to fix or work on. Emails were piling in, my heart was racing, but in the back of my mind, a quiet but insistent whisper rose above the noise. You can't keep doing this. It wasn't quite burnout, not yet anyway. It was a deeper realization. I was betraying myself to meet expectations I never really agreed to in the first place. That whisper, you can't keep doing this, was my first clear message from self-trust. The decision to leave wasn't immediate. There was no dramatic 2 weeks notice, no mic drop, no impulsive escape to another country. It was during a global pandemic, after all. The fact that the world came to a screeching halt offered a rare opportunity. I had space to pause and consider that things could be different. Wait, I could learn how to breathe differently? It was in those glimpses of light, that I began to ask different questions. What if I didn't need to work harder, just differently? What if I weren't broken, but instead built for something else? What if my brain and body weren't the problem, but the blueprint I kept forcing myself into was? And that's when I left. Not just a job, but the culture of the grind and the metrics, the societal myth that urgency equals importance. I left behind the belief that overextension is the cost of credibility and started building something new. A business that works with my brain instead of against it, and a life aligned with my values instead of someone else's agenda. So, what is self-trust? Let's get one thing clear. Self-trust is not about having it all figured out. It's about tuning in again and again and allowing your inner knowing to guide you, even when it doesn't make perfect sense to the outside world. Self-trust is choosing your voice over the noise. It's the stillness beneath the shoulds and the pause before the yes. It's the moment when you realize, I already know, and then you honor it. Self-trust is the practice of believing your own inner compass, even when doubt creeps in, even when the map feels incomplete, and especially when others would choose differently. It's not about perfection. It's about permission. Permission to follow what feels aligned, the autonomy to choose for yourself, to say yes with confidence and no without guilt. The power to lead with integrity instead of insecurity. You don't earn self-trust, you build it, choice by choice. We often talk about gut feelings like they're a little mystical, but they're deeply neurological. The ventromedial prefrontal cortex helps us process emotion and memory together. It blends instinct, experience, and logic. When you just know, your brain is recognizing a pattern faster than you can articulate it. That is why sometimes we feel clarity in our bodies before our minds can explain it. Your body remembers, your nervous system speaks, and your intuition listens. But to hear it, you have to make space. So why is it so hard? Because society teaches us to train us out of it. From a young age, we're taught that the answers exist outside of ourselves. Teachers have a grade book. Bosses have goals. Experts have the data. And influencers have the should. And for neurodivergent individuals, especially, the message is often mask first, trust later. We internalize the data that we're unreliable narrators of our own story. The more we self-monitor, the more disconnected we feel from that inner signal. And in the noise of hustle culture, productivity shame, and the belief that faster is better, it's no wonder we question ourselves. Self-trust asks us to slow down when the world rewards speed. The power of the pause. This is where it shifts. In past curated conversations, we often explore the power of the pause. It recently appeared in discussions about discernment, decision making, and confidence. That space between stimulus and response is where trust grows. When we pause, we notice the tension in our shoulders, the clenching of our jaw, the quiet yes or no behind the noise. That pause is where self trust whispers, "You already know." And for once, we listen. Self trust doesn't always feel confident. Sometimes it feels like butterflies. Sometimes it feels like relief. Sometimes it feels like grief, but it never feels like betrayal. When we trust ourselves, we feel whole, even when the choice is hard. It's after the exhale of the truth you've been holding in, the grounded stillness in your gut when something is right, and the moment your body says, "Thank you for listening." If you're here, you likely value service, integrity, creativity, and human centered work. And those values can sometimes make self trust harder. We care deeply, we want to get it right. But self trust doesn't mean ignoring others, it means not abandoning yourself for them. The more we practice self trust, the clearer we become. And clarity is a gift to ourselves and to others. You do not arrive at self trust as if it were a certification or a milestone. You practice it every day. When you cancel something that's out of alignment, when you take a risk that feels true, when you listen to your body before your calendar, when you say, "This may not make sense to anyone else, but it makes sense to me." It takes incredible confidence to walk away from the stability of working for someone else, to say, "I believe in myself enough to build something on my own." But here's the part that no one tells you. The moment you leave that external structure, the inner critics often get louder, and the patterns you hoped you left behind, sometimes they follow you, just dressed in different clothes. You might start recreating old dynamics without realizing it, overbooking yourself to prove that you're productive, saying yes to misaligned clients out of fear or scarcity, doubting your pricing, your pace, or your process. It's still self trust work, just at a different level, because the pressure is no longer coming from a boss, it's coming from the stories we carry. And this is where awareness becomes your anchor. You can begin noticing when a yes feels like self betrayal, when urgency starts to override alignment, when you're managing perception more than protecting peace. Ask yourself, am I building a business that honors my truth and makes me proud, or just one that looks good online? Am I recreating the system I left, just with a new title? Self trust is not just what gets us out of the old pattern, it's what keeps us from repeating it. That day at my desk was the first day I stopped trying to outperform my nervous system and started listening to it. And from that one decision, that one pause, came a cascade of other choices: to leave a system that never made room for me, to build a business that honors my brain, to trust the quiet voice that says, "This is who you are and how you work best." I didn't wait until I was confident to leave what I perceived as the safety of a job working for someone else. I moved forward because I trusted the knowing that I could and would do what's best for me. That is what self trust is at its core. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start listening. You already know. My questions for you this week are: where in your life are you overriding your inner knowing? And what does self trust feel like in your body? And how do you know when you've lost it? Reply and share with me. And if you're ready to start trusting yourself in business, if this conversation sparks something in you, a pause, a knowing, "That's me," let's talk. I support heart centered creative entrepreneurs build businesses that actually work with their brains, not against them. No more outsourcing your intuition, no more building by someone else's blueprint. If you're ready to get clear, find your rhythm, and lead with self trust, I offer a free one on one chat to explore whether a mind mapping session is right for you. Or if you already know what you need to work on in your business, you can book a free consultation to learn how I can support you in your business at chickbookcreative.com.